Hey, so if you are running a Google Ads campaign right now and you are looking for an optimization checklist, that is what we are going to cover in today's video. Today, I'm going to be going over the things that I look for when I'm optimizing a campaign to get results like this. You can see this particular client, this pool service client has gotten 288 leads in the past 120 days at $70 a lead. I'm going to go through some of the things that I do on this campaign and any other campaign that I work on to optimize them, to boost up the conversion rate, to cut down the cost per lead, and ultimately get the campaign performing better. So if you're new here, my name is Chris. I cover all things Google Ads and local lead generation. So if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's just jump right into the checklist. So regardless of the campaign, regardless of how long it's been running, the very first thing that I do on a campaign every single week at a bare minimum is I go through and I do search terms work on the campaign. And what that means is I'm going to go through, you're going to come into campaigns over here, go to insights and reports, and then go to search terms over here. And this is going to show you literally every single search term that your ads showed up for. And what you want to do is you want to comb through this and then start cleaning it up. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through here, you're going to find, most importantly, negative keywords that you don't want your ads showing for. You're going to add those to the negative keyword list. And then on top of that, what you can do is you can actually find keywords that you can add into your campaign or maybe build a new ad group off of. But this is really, really important because if you're not getting the right traffic on your campaign, then you're most likely not getting as many leads as you want. You're not getting the quality of leads you want. So this is the first thing I do every single week. And what I'm going to do just to kind of show you, because this is a pretty optimized campaign at this point, is I'm just going to show you some of the excluded keywords that I've found over time. All right, so literally what I did is I just kind of filtered it by added excluded here so I can show you some of the excluded keywords. What you want to do is at least, at the very minimum on a weekly basis, go through here and copy these keywords, and then we're going to add them to the negative keyword list. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. But right now I use a tool called Keyword Me. You're probably not going to see it up on the screen here, but it'll pop up a little box here. And literally what I do is I go through all of these keywords on a weekly basis. It's not going to be this many, so don't worry, you're not going to be doing this for hours and hours on end. This is 120 days worth of data. So every single week you want to go through these, find a bunch of stuff that you don't want to be showing up for, stuff like this, like brand names, random informational kind of searches. You're probably going to find local competitors. That's another thing you want to add to your negative keyword list. For example, this client doesn't do electrical repair, so we're going to add that to the negative keyword list. Water recycling, we don't do that. So the whole idea here is you go through this on a regular basis, trim out all the stuff you don't want to be showing up for, then you add it to your negative keyword list. And with a tool like Keyword Me up here, I can literally take these keywords, only grab the phrase match version. What you want to do is you want to take these negative keywords, you copy them, and then we come over here and we go to our keywords over here. And then instead of adding them in as a keyword, obviously we go over here to negative keywords. And then you add all of those negative keywords that you find from your search terms report to the campaign level here, and then hit save. Alternatively, what you can do is if you go back to the search terms report, if you wanted to add something as a negative keyword from here, you would just click this little box. You can go either add as keyword or add as negative keyword. If you hit add negative keyword, I'm obviously not going to do that for this keyword because it's a good keyword. But you select campaign level and then you just add either the entire keyword as a negative keyword or the root negative keyword. So let's say it's a location you don't want to show up for, a brand name you don't want to show up for, all that kind of stuff. You can add in that root keyword here as well. So this is another really easy way to keep building that negative keyword list and continuing to improve the quality of your traffic. And then another really good thing that you can do with the search terms report is you can actually find keywords that are converting and then add them to your campaign as a keyword. So as you go through some of these keywords, you might find something that converts really, really well, converts at a good cost per lead. You can do the exact same kind of thing where you can just sort of select the box right here, add as a keyword, and then as long as it's going to the right ad group right here, you can add it right here as an exact match keyword. Just put your little brackets around it for an exact match keyword. You can add it to that ad group. But the search terms report is extremely, extremely important for adding negative keywords, but also good keywords to your campaign so you can keep cleaning up your traffic. Another really important optimization that we need to do is optimize our keywords. There's a couple different things that are important here. Number one, we want to trim out any keywords where the cost per lead is too high. And then number two, we need to trim out keywords that are just straight up not converting at all. So what I did is I just went all, because, like I said, this is a bit more optimized. I want to show you some of the things that I did pause over time. And what you want to do is you want to let these keywords start getting clicks. And then if you see keywords like this, this one got 29 clicks, only had 2 conversions. The cost per conversion was $277. You want to pause that. Usually what I'll do is I'll give a keyword, say like 10 clicks. If it's not converting where I want it to convert by 10 clicks, usually I'll just pause it. There's not like a perfect exact science for that, but that's usually what I do. And I'll usually do this on maybe like a 30, 60, 90 day basis. Just kind of zoom the data out. You don't want to look at the data in too tight of a window because you're probably just not going to make accurate decisions in that case. So really what you want to do, zoom out the data 30, 60, 90 days, look through your keywords. And then if you see keywords based on your conversion rate that just are not converting, or you have keywords like this that are converting at 7%, this one was converting at 11, this one was converting at 4. You want to go through all of this and you want to start trimming all of this out. You can see this one, for example, had 16 clicks and no conversions. That is just a money waster. It spent $300. We have to trim that out. And the whole idea here is we want to continue to do this on a regular basis, because when we trim out those keywords that are not converting well, we're going to push more of the budget to the keywords like this that are converting at almost 25% and getting leads for $78, or this one that's getting leads for $62. The whole idea is trimming out fat so that more of the budget can be pushed to what is working. And that is the general theme of optimization. So if you do search terms and keywords, your search traffic should be pretty solid. That should help you cut down your cost per lead. But let's move on to a couple other things. Another lever we can pull is actually the devices on your campaign. So this page right here is going to show you what devices people are actually clicking on your ads from. You can see right here we have mobile phones, computers, and tablets. And the most important thing here is we have this column for bid adjustments. And what this column is telling Google is how much you want to bid based on the device. So you can see this plus 5% here. What this means is I'm telling Google when it's mobile traffic, I want you to bid 5% more to try to get me more of that traffic. I could push that a little bit more, but I don't want to push this cost per click up too high. On the other hand, you have computers where I'm actually down bidding 20%. So I'm saying, hey, Google, spend 20% less per click on computers. The reason being is computers is converting at a lower rate. It's still getting me decent lead flow. It's not a ton of leads, but it's still getting me leads. The reason why I want to bid less is it's converting less. The cost per lead is a little bit higher. So I'm telling Google essentially prioritize computers less and prioritize mobile phones more. So if you go in here, and as long as you have conversion tracking set up properly, you should be able to see which devices are converting better, and then you can tell Google to allocate budget towards things that are working better. In a lot of cases on some of my campaigns, I will just completely turn off computers altogether because it's just converting like crap, and a lot of the traffic's on mobile anyway. And if you want to turn off computers, you just hit this little pencil icon right here, go to decrease, and then you literally just type in 100, and then that'll completely turn off traffic on computers. That's another great thing you can do. If you look in here and you can see, like let's say this was at 20, 25%, but this was down at 10%, I probably would have turned off computers months and months ago because it would have just been totally wasting money. But doing that should help you push more of the budget towards what's working. Another good thing with this is if you look at these numbers and you see that maybe mobile phones is just converting like crap, you can actually do some tweaks to your mobile landing page to try to boost up that conversion rate. So we can talk about that a little bit later. It's a little bit more complicated, but this is one really good way to try to kind of push more of your budget towards what is working and away from what isn't working. One other thing you can do on your campaigns to optimize them is actually looking at your ad schedule and seeing if there's any days or times where your campaigns are just not performing well. This is going to vary from market to market, industry to industry. In this case, I felt like this was a great example because this is a pool service campaign, and you can see right here, granted, it's not a ton of traffic, but I kind of made the call early because it was just absolutely tanking the campaign at the beginning. Mondays were converting like total crap. And if I had not trimmed that out, we would have been spending thousands and thousands of dollars on Mondays to get a cost per lead upwards of $500. In this case, it was $688. Obviously, it was very early, but that would have been a total waste of money. So I just opted to trim out Monday. We took the daily budget from Monday, split it up over these other days, and that has resulted in more leads at a cheaper cost per lead over the long term. So in your case, for your campaign, keep an eye on these numbers. You can filter it by day, day and hour, all that kind of stuff, and then get a sense of what works, what doesn't. And then you can either completely exclude a day like we did here, or if we come down here to ad schedule, you could actually technically split these up into like 2-hour blocks and make bid adjustments by hour and all that kind of stuff. Or if you see a day that totally kills it, you can just do a bid adjustment on that day and then maybe bump it up a little bit, bring it down. There's a lot of different things you can do, but that is another thing you can do to try to squeeze some more leads out of your campaign and try to optimize it a little bit more. So there are some other optimizations that you can do that are a lot more granular. In a lot of cases, I don't worry about them too much because the reality is they require a lot of data to really start making changes. And when you're talking about traffic on a local level, it's going to take a while to build up enough traffic, enough data to really decide whether an age group is working or a specific location is working and all that kind of stuff. It takes time to get there. They are optimizations that you can do, but the biggest thing I would suggest with all of this is don't make a knee-jerk decision on this based off of like 10 clicks on an age, because that's just not going to be enough data. Same thing with locations, all that kind of stuff. You're just not going to be able to make enough decisions on it. But this can still be a good thing to check out in case, let's say, there is an age range that is totally tanking the campaign. You can just trim it out or exclude it, and that should help you save on cost per lead. So the way you would do that is you'd come in here to audiences, keywords, and content. You go to audience, you can see ages right here, and you can see at the campaign level if there's different ages that are totally tanking the campaign. Thankfully, in this campaign's case, everything looks decently fine. This one's a little bit low, but it's not dragging things down too much. If you want to actually exclude age ranges, you have to do it at the ad group level. So you'd have to look at your ad group and then see if some of these, for example, like this one, this might actually be something that I could look at going forward. You can see 65 plus in the geo ad group here, converting pretty poorly, and the cost per lead is $270. But at the same time, I look at it and I'm like, that's only 28 clicks for an entire age range. So it's one of those things where, again, I don't mess with this too much unless it is genuinely tanking the campaign. And let's say, you know, the 65 plus age range at the campaign level was totally screwing things up, then I would probably make some kind of a change there or exclude it from the campaign. In this case, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but in your case, you can check this out and see if there's anything happening there. Same kind of idea with locations. If you split out your locations into zip codes or cities and stuff like that on the location targeting level, you can get this more granular data and you can get a sense of what converts better and what converts worse. This can be a good lever you can pull going forward as well. Same kind of idea as mobile device or desktop device bid adjustments. You have this bid adjustment column here. And if you see a location that is totally tanking things, and granted, this is not tanking things by any means, but you can see this one, Deer Valley, I dropped it by 10% just because the conversion rate wasn't that great and the cost per conversion wasn't that great. So I dropped that bid adjustment a little bit. But keep in mind, again, you can go overboard with some of this stuff. Tweaking every single location and bid adjustments on all of it can sometimes confuse the hell out of Google. But again, it takes a lot of data to really start making these changes. You can do them over time, but I wouldn't spend too much time worrying about this. I would focus more on the key elements of the campaign between your keywords, your search traffic, your landing page, which we'll touch on in just a second, and all those kind of more core elements of your campaign. And then the final thing we should talk about, which is a little bit more complicated to put into a video because it's going to be unique to every single situation. Every different platform is different, all that kind of stuff. But one of the biggest things you can do is do landing page testing or just test out a totally new landing page variation, because that is going to have the biggest impact on your conversion rate here. And that conversion rate is going to dictate how many of your clicks are turning into leads. So if you are sending your traffic to a website or a landing page that just isn't optimized very well, chances are your conversion rate is going to be too low, your cost per lead is going to be too high, and that's going to be the biggest point of optimization that you can do. But there's a few things to keep in mind with landing page optimization, because it's usually not as simple as just saying, go do that, and then everything's going to be solved, because there's other things you have to keep in mind when it comes to that. Number one, and I do have other videos on this that I can probably link in the description below, but number one, you got to make sure you're getting the right search traffic on your campaign. So if you are currently getting the right search traffic on your campaign, your ads are getting clicked on at a good enough rate, so like 5, 6, 7, 10% or more, and your conversion rate is still low, then you probably got to do landing page optimization to try to boost up that conversion rate. Now, when it comes to conversion rate optimization on pages and testing out new pages and all that kind of stuff, usually you don't want to just jump to that right away, because there are multiple different factors in a Google Ads campaign that need to be in place to figure out whether you need to do landing page optimization or not. So number one on this list here is you need to make sure you have the right search traffic. So first part of that troubleshooting process to determine if you need to do landing page optimization is your search traffic good? If your search traffic is relevant, then you can move on to the next step. It might not be a search traffic issue. If your search traffic is totally irrelevant and you're going through your search terms early on in that process and you're seeing a bunch of random crap you don't want to be showing up for, then you got to work on your search traffic, and that should help boost up all your other metrics on your campaign. But let's say your search traffic is good. Next thing you want to look at is, are your ads getting clicked on? Is your click-through rate good enough? Is it 5, 6, 7, 10% on your ads? If it's too low, there could be an issue with the relevance on your campaign. So the ads you're putting in front of people might not be relevant to what people are searching. Or if it's too low, it could just be you need to improve the ads. But typically that isn't going to drastically impact the conversion rate on the page. As long as those ads are relevant to what is on the page, you should be fine there. But long story short is, if your search traffic is relevant, your ads are getting clicked on, everything seems like it should be lining up. And on top of that, the ads you're putting in front of people are relevant to what they're searching. Your campaigns are structured properly, all that kind of stuff, but your conversion rate is still low. Then you need to look at testing your landing page and trying to figure out your conversion rate there, because no amount of tweaking keywords or tweaking your search traffic or this or that is going to boost up the actual conversion rate on your landing page without actually testing your landing page. So before you go and do the landing page testing, you want to make sure everything else is good before doing all that. Because if you are doing a bunch of landing page testing, but your search traffic is completely irrelevant, it's not really going to matter what is on your landing page, because you could be, let's say an auto repair shop, but you have people searching for window tinting and clicking on your ads, thinking they're going to go to a page about window tinting or something like that, but your site is talking about auto repair. It's not going to work anyway. So you need to make sure everything kind of lines up. Everything is relevant to what they're searching for. And yeah, so that's pretty much landing page testing in a nutshell. There's a ton of different stuff that you could do to actually test your page. Again, every platform's different, but if your conversion rate is too low, you can start testing your landing page to see if that will help boost up your conversion rate. And in a lot of cases on some campaigns, like one recently, not this one in particular, but I had a campaign come on recently where their mobile version was converting like crap. I made some changes on the mobile version of the page, and then it went from like a 10% conversion rate to a 25, 30% conversion rate with some tweaks to the mobile landing page. And I figured that out by literally just following this process, looking at each part of the campaign, and then just determining, all right, the mobile landing page is converting like crap. I need to optimize that part of the campaign. And that is arguably, I would say, maybe I should have put that number one in the video, but because there isn't a specific step that I can show for it, it's a whole other topic in and of itself. I kind of put it at the end here, but that is one last thing that I highly recommend when it comes to actually optimizing your campaigns. All right, so that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a little bit of value out of it, and you take some of these optimizations, apply them to your campaign, and try to get some more leads at a lower cost per lead and get an overall better performing campaign. So if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you are a business owner looking for somebody to build a campaign for you, manage it, optimize, all that kind of stuff, there's a link in the description below for an application for a consultation. You can fill it out and I can check it out, see if I can help you out. But in the meantime, like I said, if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks.